Hey, get off there. Out. That's why the dog's not allowed in the veggie garden area. Busted him on top of the veggie garden. Naughty doggy. Right, so dog sorted and out of the veggie garden area. So in this video, this is part 2 of bringing you how I'm going with the chicken coop or chicken house build. So let's spin the camera around and let's have a look at it. And we'll also have a look at what I'm doing regarding composting. So a little bit more has progressed with this build since part 1 of the video. So I've got the chicken mesh up here now that goes all the way around, so that's going to stop any birds getting in, as well as the chicken mesh up here that in between the roof and these timbers, which will stop any birds getting in through there. Now the tin here originally had a gap, but I've decided to lift that tin all the way up to the timbers and just use this gap as an air gap on hot summer days. So this is a gate which is an old frame from when I worked at Kawasaki, where the mules got crated in, and it fits absolutely perfect there. Absolute bang on perfect fit. All I did was put some mesh on it. I've still got to put the hinges, so I'll either do hinges this side, so it'll either open out this way, or I'll probably get my shadow out of the way, probably put hinges at that side so it opens out this way. So that's yet got to be done. Now we have a look inside here. There's one of the feeders that I use. I've got that hanging there just as a bit of a trial off the timber up on the roof down there. And we'll have a look at what I use for a drinker for the water in a second. So what I want to look at now is how I do some composting. I'll add that to this video because it's something I have been asked in the past, and I asked this regularly on the last video. What I have been using in the past is right behind me here, and that is just a rubbish bin with the bottom cut out, so flipped upside down. Cut the bottom out, and I use the lid here for the top, and you can see, well, I've got some compost in there, some scraps in there, and then I just put a rock. Excuse me, were you not kicked out of the veggie garden for being, don't you climb up there? Oh, naughty boy. So that's what I have been using. Now, I've also got a compost bin for larger material. So we've got hay from feeding the sheep, plus any green waste or any big up materials go in this compost bin here, which I'm setting back up again in this chicken run area. And I really do need to set 2 of these up, but that will come in the future. And that is the composting area, which is part of the chicken area. So that is how I'm doing the composting. We'll go feed them sheepies. Come on, we go feed them sheepies. The dog loves to go down and feed the sheepies run, and the sheep are coming up. I've got to give them a little bit of food, and I'm also starting to give them a little bit of hay because they're starting to get very noisy and wanting to put their heads through the fences to start to eat from outside, which means they're getting hungry. You're scared of the sheep, aren't you? Because you got bucked, you're scared. Come on, you big sook. Come here, come on. Yeah, he's not sure. I reckon we might leave you out. Right, so my mobile phone was set to the wrong setting, so we missed half of that footage in that, but we can see the sheep here is eating their grain. So they get grain in this feed tub, and in the other feed tub is where I put their hay. So it's oaten hay that we're using, and that goes in this feed tub, and that tries to reduce the amount of spillage that they can do if you put it on the ground. The hay that I'm using is oaten hay, so this is it here, and what I do is I just give 1 biscuit in the morning for the sheep, and then in the afternoon they get their grain. Now the reason why I'm going to start feeding a little bit of hay to the sheep is because they're getting hungry. Now these 2 little paddocks I've got here, this paddock here, the one they're in now, is about 3/4 of an acre, and the little paddock over there is about 1/3 of an acre, but the ground that I'm on here is all gravel, so it doesn't really produce a lot of really nice, lovely grass from it. It still gets grass, and I still want them to eat it down, but it's really just not enough. So I do need to supplement their food because they're starting to get hungry, and now the dog's eating the hay. Blue, you can't eat the hay, no. So a little bit of extra content at the end of the video for those that stick through right through to the end. So we'll have a look at how the worm farms are going and see if we can see some nice worms. So I'll uncover that one. And yeah, you look at all those lovely worms that are going and eating that food. So the worms certainly want to be fed. Now this second worm farm here isn't doing as well. And I think I know why that is. So we'll have a look and see if we can see some worms in here. And we can see, well, there's a couple of, maybe a little one there, but there's really not much happening. There's one worm there. It's not much, it's not crawling with worms. And the reason I believe for that, and that is with the quality of the worms that I got from Bunnings. Now this set of worms that I've got in just recently, the box of worms was pretty fresh. And there were a lot of worms in there. But this one here, which I purchased the second worm farm and a box of worms from another Bunnings store, I went through about 10 or 12 boxes of worms looking inside them. And most of those boxes, the worms were mostly dead, all dried out. So come on, Bunnings, get your ass into gear and start looking after the livestock you got on the shelf. Now, the box that I picked had the most worms in them, but it still wasn't very much, and you can see they're very, very slow to get going because, well, there's only about half of them were alive. But I paid for the whole box. But we will get this up and going, and it will be going just as strong as this one. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and wait for the next awesome video to be coming out on the Off Grid Homestead channel.